from Allison, the ministerial assistant from Gardena. She came last week and she gave us a very nice talk, so we're all looking forward to another great talk today. Allison.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for having me back again. I'm going to start off with Nembutsu, then I'm going to read the exact words from Shinon, and then I will explain that from there. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. しかるに今日に門といわ主上仏画の正気本末を聞きて疑心あることなしこれを門というなりと The word here in the passage from the larger sutra means that sentient beings, having heard how the Buddha's vow arose, its origin and fulfillment, are altogether free of doubt. This is to hear. So the passage that I just quoted is exact words from Shinon Shonin, who, as you know, is the founder of Jodo Shinshu, and is on the far right side of that altar over there. And in this passage, we're introduced to how Shinon understands hearing as it relates to the vow of Amida Buddha, or the Buddha that we take refuge in Jodo Shinshu, and who is also present here in the center of the altar. Now, I'd like to draw your attention to the word hear. To hear or hearing is defined in the Merriam-Webster dictionary as to perceive or to become aware of by ear. But this sounds like listening though, right? To listen or listening is defined in the Merriam-Webster dictionary as to pay attention to sound. So hearing is more passive and listening is more active. So let's explore these two words a little bit more. Listening requires active, voluntary effort. As an example, growing up, we were supposed to listen to our parents or our guardians, right? We're supposed to take in those words, process them, and usually provide a response to that action. So when our parents told us to do our homework, we should be taking those words and actively going through and doing our homework, right? We can listen to those words, but after we listen, we can also choose what we can do with that information. We can choose to ignore the information altogether, or to remember and, again, actually go through with the homework. And honestly, remembering can be hard at sometimes. That's why we act accordingly. During classes or meetings, we'll jot down notes. We have pocket calendars that we can use to write down dates in our calendars. And nowadays, we have cell phones where we can just write down those notes. Or even text someone a message based on what we have processed, such as, don't forget to get fruit on the way home. Oh, that's because we're out of fruit. Okay, got it. Or, remember that we have to visit family on Saturday because it is someone's birthday. And sometimes I have a hard time remembering things, so I'll usually use my cell phone to write down those notes. But even when we are often confident about our memories, sometimes conditions make it really difficult, even for those of us with excellent memories, to remember those type of things. Now, hearing is more of a passive verb. I think of hearing as processing that there is noise around us and how that noise makes us feel. As an example, you probably haven't noticed the air that's been going through the hondo. Or for those of you at home, maybe you haven't noticed the hum of the laptop or computer or any noises that have been around you. Yet, maybe you haven't heard or processed these noises because they're normal to you, or they provide some sort of comfort that doesn't really bother you as much. So, let's do an example really quickly. Since this is being recorded, if you are listening or viewing this online, and doing something that requires your attention, like driving, walking, cooking, please pay attention to that while you're listening to this. I will modify the action for this next segment. For those of you in the hondo, or are in a place where you can take your mind off of things, go ahead and get into a comfortable position. And now, what I would like you to do is close your eyes and take a few seconds to pay attention to the sounds around you. And again, for those of you who are paying attention to actions like driving, walking, cooking, keep your eyes open, but please just pay attention to what's around you. Okay, for those of you who have had your eyes closed, go ahead and open them. So to recap what just happened, I asked you to pay attention to those sounds that are around you. What kind of sounds were around you? This is called listening, because you were taking my request and you were actively paying attention to the sounds that were around you, perhaps even trying to identify what was around you, or even engaging in those sounds that were around you. You were consciously making the effort to figure out what those sounds were. Now, without thinking too hard about it, how did those sounds make you feel? This should be more of a subconscious effort. Did you feel calm because they were familiar sounds to you? Did they make you distressed because it was just so quiet and you didn't know what to do with that? These unconscious feelings, I feel, are associated with the word hearing. Now, let's talk about Nembutsu, or Namomidabutsu. This is called the sixth character name for Amida. Namo is to take refuge, with refuge meaning shelter or protection from danger or distress. Amida is a Sanskrit term which comes from Amita Ayus, which is life without measure, and Amitabha, which is light without measure. And Butsu mean Buddha, or someone who has been enlightened. So Namo Idautsu means to take refuge in the Buddha of immeasurable life and immeasurable light. To help us understand the significance of this, our teachers from the past have helped us to see how immeasurable life is associated with compassion, and immeasurable light is associated with wisdom. So, all in all, Amida Buddha is the Buddha of immeasurable life and immeasurable light, the Buddha of immeasurable compassion and wisdom, who has vowed to save us from our suffering, no matter who we are. If any one of us cannot be saved from suffering, then they will stop being a Buddha altogether. So when you hear the Nembutsu or Namomidabutsu, how does that make you feel? Do you feel calm? Does it remind you of anything familiar? Or maybe you aren't sure what this means to you yet. You're still navigating that process of hearing and understanding what that phrase means to you. And that's okay. But no matter what happens, Amida is working with us so that we may be freed from our suffering. we can let go of our doubt, knowing that we're cared for. We know that we are okay to be ourselves. So as we gather here at the Pasadena Buddhist Temple today, if there's one thing I would like you to remember, I hope you remember that what's important about this message isn't what you listen to or what I said. I think it's important for you to remember how this message made you feel, or even what you thought as a result of this message. Does it encourage you to buy fruit because I mentioned fruit in the message? Does it remind you of someone's birthday coming up? Did it make you feel better about not remembering everything, because I admitted that I honestly can't remember everything either? Did it make you feel comforted knowing that Amida is actively trying to save us from our suffering? Hopefully this message gives you some sort of confidence to hear all the things that are around you, even the birds outside. For those of you who are online, you probably can't hear, but or to find things that mean something to you. And hopefully this all points back to the Nembutsu. If it does, then hopefully we are moved to also say the Nembutsu in thankfulness and in humbleness for the conditions that have brought us all here today. It's less of what we're thinking and more responding to being made to feel safe and to be accepted as we are. And that's why I think Shinran emphasized hearing more than listening. And so with that, thank you. That concludes my message, and if I can ask everyone to join me in Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.